Hello and welcome back to TalkNorwichCity. Hope everyone is doing well despite the result that we've just seen. We are back. It's the TNC podcast and it's live. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening. We've just witnessed Norwich City lose 1-0 at the hands of Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. And boy, have we got a lot to discuss tonight. Sit back, relax, and hopefully we can take you through it all, and be sure to get involved in the comments section. Chris, how are you?
I don't think this is going to be a relaxing one, Jack. I think that this could well be a particularly fierce debate. Very interested to hear people's comments on YouTube, Twitter and Facebook tonight, Jack, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of questions to be asked already, even after only 3 league games. For me, hugely disappointed with that. Just felt like just a real lack of creativity. I think that was where it was lost today, Jack. Look, I'm not going to deny it. You know, Bournemouth took their goal really well. You know, nice bit of skill. Yes, we gave him too much time, but it was a good finish. But again, you know, all of the possession today felt like we did enough to do something with it. But just all of the, you know, I've even wrote this comment here from James Scotty on Periscope, and I think he absolutely nails it, James Scott Foley. He says, typical Norwich. I would actually agree with that. You know, all of the possession, we don't capitalise on that possession. We don't put enough shots on goal. We don't make our substitutions early enough. And I don't know, I'm just really down, Jack. And I would say I'm cutting a very frustrated figure today. I feel like the draw against Preston was, you could almost say, well, that was good character to get back into the game. But today it felt like we turned up to Bournemouth with just... maybe not a lack of desire, but a lack of a game plan. It just seemed like it was never going to work today, did it? I think that Bournemouth did all of the things that we've spoken about with Holty numerous times. You know, they fell over, they won corners, they won free kicks, they made the most of their possession, they held the ball in the corner. And, you know, the player that did that for us, Jordan Hugill, got brought on 15 minutes too late. So I'm pissed off, Jack.
Norwich City may not have turned up today, but all of the viewers are certainly turning up. The numbers are flying up and the comments are flying in. Josh T says, can we talk about Jack's nonsensical Roop slander? We'll get onto it, Josh. Don't you worry about that, my friend. Liam says, Leicester beating Man City 4-1. Well, that's good if you're James Maddison. But we are here to talk about Bournemouth 1, Norwich City 0. We already have some comments flying in on Kofi. The link is in the description and also on the top line of the Facebook post. Shaney says, Daniel Farke has a lot of questions coming at him tonight in the end. We attacked hard, but I don't understand how you can say in your press conference that Emmy and Marco would both be available and not in the side. This whole not needing to sell is, Shaney's put something else, but nonsense, I will go with. Chris, let's talk about it. That is the big talking point. Emmy Buendia, Todd Cantwell, not included in the squad, didn't travel to Bournemouth. I was seeing Todd Cantwell posting Chunks music videos halfway through the game. So at least he's enjoying his Sunday afternoon. Norwich City, not quite so much. That was huge. I'd pumped my debit card details into iFollow ahead of this game. I was excited. My £10 had gone to the EFL, and then I saw Emmy Buendia wasn't included, and then I saw Todd Cantwell wasn't included, and I was starting to think, I think I've thrown £10 down the drain here.
Jack, I think Shaney's bang on the money. Bang on the money there. I really do. Literally, thank you for your donation, Shaney. Yeah, I think the team selection was poor, and I think that it doesn't give a great impression to us loyal supporters, does it? You know, saying that arguably our number one man, and feel free to disagree with me, our number one threat, the player that the opposition fear, it strikes fear to them that Emmy Buendia is going to be starting, and for him to not even be on the bench today smells a bit, to be honest with you. You know, I've messaged a few people about this already, and I'm trying to get some intel as we speak, but I think it smells a bit today, Jack. I think there's something going on. In fact, I think there's a lot going on now. I think the transfer market is definitely hotting up, and I definitely think it's having an impact on this squad. I think people are deciding whether they want to give their all or not to Norwich City Football Club. And I do think that actually affected the performance on the pitch today for numerous players. I felt some stepped up. I think Skip had a great game today. I think Anel was really on it as well, actually. But just, mate, really naff. I think the lineup was poor. just a complete lack of creativity. And I just don't see how Daniel Farke could set out that team with the intent of taking the game to Bournemouth. We were never going to take the game to Bournemouth with McLean and Rupp, in those roles that they've got to try and make things happen in those roles. And that team wasn't there to take the game to Bournemouth. That team was there to suck up the pressure and try and hit them on the counter, which is just that's not what we should be doing with the players that we've got. PP, by the way, great performance from him today. Yes, he got pushed off the ball a couple of times, but felt like, he's growing a little bit at the moment. But yeah, apart from that, sounding like a broken record, just really, really frustrated.
Really glad that Owen Schaffer has commented this. Owen says, don't know how many times you can cross the ball and not get anything from it. Chris, I was intrigued with the tactics today because we seem, since we have signed Javi Quintilla, to be deploying this style of play in which, operates down the flanks and then crosses come into the box. We saw the Pukki header last week against Preston. That was fortunate to go in. Today, I don't think we connected to a single cross. And I'm confused because we've got Pukki, who we know isn't a natural kind of target man, but we've got Hugill and Ida on the bench who are, and we're struggling for creativity through the middle. Could you quite get your head around the tactics being deployed by a certain Mr. Farke today?
No, I can't, and I'm super interested to hear what he says in his post-match. I think that's obviously going to come in live whilst we're on here, so make sure you update us in the comments because we can't pay attention to that necessarily. Yeah, look, Jack, I've said it already. I think Rupp's selection was surprising, although we'll get onto it in a minute because I was actually pretty content with what he did on the pitch today. But you're right, Jack. Xavi Quintilla, I think, is a top player. So good to see corners being whipped in every time into the right sort of areas. Getting crosses in early, I think, is actually the right thing to do. But the actual players, the resource that we're putting out onto the pitch to start the game isn't right. And Jordan Hugill, I think, should be extremely frustrated at the moment. I don't want to plant that in his head, but I would be so pissed off. I really would. I think I forgot the person that tweeted it. I thought it was a great tweet. Their name began with Canary on Twitter, and they said, "This is like a 14-year-old playing FIFA." Yeah. You don't start you don't start it well, and then you just throw on 3 strikers at the end to desperately try and get something from the game. It's too late. The game has gone. Particularly against a very mature, I would describe Bournemouth as a mature side that know how to kind of grind out points. And yeah, I think you bang on the money, Jack. I think the not only the lineup but the actual game plan today was just a complete mismatch with not only what we were up against but also what we had available.
No, 100%. Feel free to get your comments in. We've got a few more Kofi questions, actually. This one from Mike. He says, keep doing the great work, guys. Hi from Singapore. Mike, great to have you on board, my friend. I hope all is well. Charlotte says, great output. Gives me a touch of normality in these crazy times. Thank you. Look, we always say, despite the results we're talking about, and we've been doing these for about 4 months now, we've talked about one Norwich City win. We're always here and we're always willing to talk to all of you guys. It's great to get together after a game. One final one from Kofi Chaz Tat saying, here's an Australia each, lads. I've been looking forward to this all day. And also James Rennie says, hi chaps, won't be able to tune in live, but we'll definitely watch it back later on. Loving the third kit this season, and more importantly, loving these recent opposition previews. Yes, all credit goes to Chris there, and I agree, James. The third kit that we're wearing is absolutely lovely. Simon says, I agree with Sermon on commentary. By the way, Sermon is still looking for a club. He's 34 years old. I would take him over Lucas Roop and Kenny McLean. That's all I'm saying. We needed to play him behind Bournemouth instead of front with crosses. Bournemouth have a big back line and dealt with the crosses all day long. If Hugo had started, maybe that was the right tactic. We looked better after Vrancic came on. I agree with Simon there. Chris, I thought we looked far better when Mario Vrancic came on. And for me today, that midfield really let us down.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think we had to do that because clearly we had the players available to pick, and they weren't there. They're sitting there at home watching it, which is just ridiculous for me. Absolutely ridiculous. I really do. The thing that I can't get my head around, Jack, is just how much we pummeled Bournemouth. Like, we really did pummel them. There was a particular spell between the 10th and 20th minute where I thought, blimey, we could absolutely smash these in today. But just did absolutely nothing with it. I think the reason why the midfield didn't work for me today, Jack, I've said it, creativity. But another thing is connecting between the midfield and that forward line, which obviously it's not a line, it's Pookie on his own, the poor guy. And again, feeding off scraps today. And I'm sure, as we are doing on every single one of these live streams, we always debate Teemu Pukki, the productivity of him. Is it time to start Adam Eder or Jordan Hugill instead? I'm actually starting to feel sorry for Teemu Pukki because he is not being given the service. He's trying to. He's got scraps, honestly, absolute scraps. And today the midfield didn't connect with him at all. And yeah, just not good enough. And Jack, you know what we need to start? Well, I think we need to talk about this right here, right now. I think people know that we are going to have a bit of argy-bargy over this. What are you on about with your comments about Lucas Rupp today? I felt like your tweet was a bit premature, to be honest with you, mate. And I think that, you know, I want to call you out on it and I want to hear your opinion and let's debate it and let me know in the comments as well. You know, what did you think of Lucas Rupp's performance today?
Sure. So where are we taking this? That it was premature. Okay. So in the second half, did he create anything in the second half?
No, but I
felt... Can you name me a performance in which Lucas Rupp's excelled in the past season?
No, I can't.
Okay, so where was he for the Bournemouth goal?
Jack, right. What I want to do, okay, Jack. What I want, no, and I know where you're going here. I know where you're going, but it's been verging on slanderous. You know what I've given to Lucas Rupp. Of course.
Look, and by the way, I'm just putting this out there. We spent money out of our own pockets to sponsor Lucas Rupp. I do not have an agenda. I say what I see. And I didn't see a good performance from Lucas Rupp today.
Yeah, but Jack, I just think your tweet was just way like. I mean, look, right when Daniel Farke picked Lucas Rupp to start, I had the same thought as you. I'm not sure this is going to end well, but credit where credit's due. I thought his energy in the first half was there. I thought his tackling was there. I thought the way he linked up with Teemu Pukki / Anel Hernandez particularly was there. I thought that his passes to Max were quicker when distributing it out wide. I am not a massive fan of Lucas Rupp, but I just thought that you were completely unfair to him today, mate, to be honest with you. But let us know in the comments. You know, are you on Jack's side? Do you think Lucas Rupp? Do you think Lucas Rupp is a waste of space, or are you like me? You know, do you think that Lucas Rupp was actually okay today, considering circumstances? I must admit, it's very rare for me to say that, but I felt like, you know, criticism of him today was a bit harsh.
No, I think that's fair. Look, this is a game of opinions. For me, I don't hate Lucas Rupp. I'm sure he's a very nice man. He's got a much better head of hair than me, so I can't disrespect him too much. But for me, we are a team who should be challenging in the top two this season. A midfield comprised of Lucas Rupp and Kenny McLean is not going to get us in the top two this season. As we saw today, we, you know, went up a real gear when Mario Vrancic came on the pitch today. This isn't some kind of hate agenda towards Lucas Rupp. I don't dislike him. I think he's an okay player, but that's the thing. He's an okay player. Out of all of them players in that team today, I could name a decent performance from each of them in their Norwich City career. I cannot genuinely think, and please do feel free to let me know if I'm wrong here because my memory isn't the best. I cannot think of a single performance where I've gone, cool, Lucas Rupp looked good today in his whole time at Norwich City. And feel free to say differently, but we need to be seeing sparks of brilliance from our midfielders. Not, you know, Chris, you said there, your main reason for backing Lucas Rupp up there is that he's had good energy. What's that about? I could go out there and give good energy.
No. And Jack, I agree. That's completely fair. And I'm happy to debate this with you. I agree that me saying he's got good energy isn't a good enough, you know, reason to praise him. But what I would say is there were players on that pitch today that were worse than him. And actually, I think the biggest problem with our midfield today, and maybe this is a bit too cutting, was actually Daniel Farke. What the hell is he doing taking off our biggest threat in Anel Hernandez off then? We're trying to win the game of football and we take off the player that's the only player that's actually bringing it to Bournemouth, runs down the line, aggressive, strong, not afraid to try a trick or a turn or a spark of creativity. We take off our creativity. And I just think today, Jack, again, like throwing on the strikers in the manner that we did just wasn't good enough. And I can't emphasize it enough. You know, Jordan Hugill must be absolutely raging right now. Raging.
It's really interesting you mentioned about throwing the strikers on there, because if you remember, we did it against Preston, and I'm fairly sure we did it against Huddersfield. It worked against Huddersfield and to an extent worked against Preston, but it felt like we almost come undone today. That desperation showed in the last 10 minutes. It didn't end up getting us anything out of the game, and it feels as if it was just desperation throwing people on. A few more Kofi donations. Thank you, Kofi supporters. Despite Jack hating me, keep up the good work. Not sure if that's Lucas Roop. I don't hate anyone. I'm a lover. I'm not a hater. And Mike says, keep the good work from Singapore. We've already said that, Mike. Thanks so much for getting involved. Jeff Wyatt, we need to talk about this. If Buendia is sold, Farke should resign. We should be building a team around him. And if the future is root for Buendia, then what's the point in supporting this team anymore? Bold words from Jeff. Chris, I think that the time is here. We're 15 minutes into this live stream. People are tuning in on their Sunday evenings while their lamb is in the oven. We need to get to this point quickly. And it is Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell being linked with Leeds. Them negotiations are happening. We know that. That's been confirmed by Nick Masheter, Peter Rook, and I think Michael Bailey as well. Emi Buendia, I haven't seen any links with him yet, but he didn't travel with the squad today, despite Daniel Farke saying he's fit and ready for this game. Let's start with Todd Cantwell. What do we make of that?
Oh, Jack, look, people that follow me on Twitter, I'm raging over it, to be honest with you. I'm raging not because Todd has got the chance to move to the Premier League, should the club get the money that they want for him, but just the way that the fans treat Todd Cantwell. It honestly really angers me. You know, the boy, and I say boy, the boy has, been on the verge of leaving our football club, has grinded over and over and over. He has won a league title for Norwich City Football Club. That boy has won a league title for our football club. He goes up to the Premier League and everyone says, oh, Todd will sit on the bench. Todd will sit on the bench. Without Todd Cantwell last season, we would have been an utter embarrassment. We would have had a bit of the old Triple P, the purple patch Pookie, but that would have been it.
That's good from you, Chris. That's very good from you.
A bit of purple. But look, I just think the way that some Norwich fans talk about Todd Cantwell is disgusting. I think it's completely unjust to say things like Todd doesn't care. And I think that there's a lot of people here, a lot of nasty individuals that are sitting here waiting in the shadows, ready to pounce on anything wrong that Todd is ever involved in, just because he's got long hair and he's stylish and he's got a deal with Puma and that he's admired by some of the top clubs in England. And that is utter bollocks. Yes, he was left out the squad today. And yes, I agree. And I said this, by the way, after the Preston game, and I said this after the Huddersfield game, Todd has not been up to his performance level. He's not been up to his performance level. And I don't think that Todd deserves to start at the moment, without a doubt. And I also agree that Daniel Farke has made the right call to not include Todd because of what's going on around the transfer speculation. But how a Norwich City fan that can sport this beautiful bird on a ball, now not with a castle, and slag off Todd Cantwell and say things like, yeah, I'll get him in a taxi and drive him right now. Yeah, Todd can go. Yeah, Todd's this, Todd's that. He's a prick. He's arrogant. What are you doing? What are you doing? It's this sort of behaviour that won't get our club anywhere. We're meant to be encouraging young players. Our whole club motive now is bringing young players through the ranks. Our whole club motive now is about bringing through these young players, encouraging them to have the freedom and the opportunity to play. Todd Cantwell deserves so much more respect than he's getting now from Norwich City fans, and it makes my blood boil.
Chris Reeve, that was probably one of the best passages of speech I've heard you ever say.
Truth,
it was
mate.
Good. No, I agree, mate. I do really agree. I mean, whether he goes to Leeds or whether he goes to somewhere else or whether he stays at Norwich City, the 2 seasons he's had as a Norwich City player, despite what everybody has said to him, he's too small, he's too weak, doesn't score enough goals, doesn't get enough assists. He always steps up to the mark, and I'm not surprised that he's got a £15 million price tag on his head and being hunted by a Leeds side that have started the Premier League season very well.
Look, and by the way, I need to be clear because I've noticed there's quite a lot of Leeds fans in here. Lovely to see you on a Norwich City fan channel. Let's make this clear. I think that Todd is a top talent, and whether he stays at Norwich or he goes to Leeds or another big club in England, he will excel and he will go to the top. He's got everything he needs to go to the top, whether it's with Norwich or with another club. And you know what? I wish him well. And I would say that at the moment, Leeds' bid, rumoured to be 15 million. I would assume 15 million plus add-ons isn't enough money. I think that it probably actually needs to be 20 plus add-ons, particularly because homegrown, English, young talent. I just think, for me, I think the way the Norwich fans are treating him is not good enough. And I've had a few tweets today. He was poor in the restart. Everyone was poor in the restart. There wasn't a single player. I think people have said to me, "Oh, actually, Chris, Tim Krul and El Hernandez were good in the restart." Well, yeah, I would agree they were okay, but what did they contribute? Tim Krul still conceded loads of goals, and El Hernandez still didn't score or assist as far as I can remember. So to be able to say this, why are people picking on Todd? Because and let's not kid ourselves here. The reason why people are picking on Todd is that he's different, because he uses social media, because he doesn't stick to the pre-scripted player nonsense that is just walk in front of the camera, say what they think, go home, do what they want. Todd speaks with his heart. And by the way, there is not a single player that cares more about Norwich City Football Club than Todd Cantwell, by the way. I think El Hernandez is up there. Tim Krul's up there as well. But Todd Cantwell, he has been brought up by this football club. He loves our football club. And I'm not saying that I want to make this clear, Jack. He is not void of criticism. I'm fine with people saying that Todd hasn't played well. I'm fine with people saying that Todd doesn't deserve to start, because that's your opinion. It's a game of opinions. But as a Norwich fan, how can you just be so dismissive and rude? And this pile-on culture on Todd Cantwell is just not good enough. Look, Duda, Josip Drmic, and arguably Lucas Rupp have contributed absolutely fuck all. Yet it's trendy to stick up for Lucas Rupp, but you're going to turn your back on Todd Cantwell. How dare you? How dare you?
No, absolutely spot on. Friend of the channel, Phoebe Langdale, says he will be a huge miss if he goes. Fans don't realise how much he does on and off the ball. People thinking he's arrogant, all because he believes in himself, is wrong. As a footballer, you should believe in yourself. And Chris, I agree with Phoebe there. I don't think people dislike Todd Cantwell. And let's not get this, mistaken. A lot of people do like Todd Cantwell. There is a minority that dislike Todd Cantwell. And I think it's because of a few reasons. He's got long hair. He does a few TikToks. He's active on social media, and he's a bit different. Look, Todd Cantwell is one of the most marketable modern day footballers in the world. There is a reason that he is friends with Anton Griezmann. There is a reason that he is friends with Chunks and these kind of guys. These are the up and coming influencers. And, you can, sneer at that. These are the football players that will be earning the big bucks at the big clubs, and he delivers on the pitch. Todd Cantwell is an incredibly humble and good young man, and we should be proud to have him. And Leeds, if he goes to Leeds, he will be a brilliant asset to Leeds.
Absolutely. And Jack, we've said this time after time, facts don't care about feelings. If someone comments on this live stream now and says, Jack, you're wrong about Lucas Rupp because of this fact, this statistic, this is what he gives, this is what he brings to the team, then we'll fall on our sword on that. Yeah, we absolutely deserve to be pummeled and ripped to shreds for that, because there's statistics there to back up your opinion. But for me, the statistics are there to show that Todd Cantwell deserves a hell of a lot of more respect than he is. And have you noticed, and this is brave, but I don't care because this is how angry I am, have you noticed how most people that slag you off Todd Cantwell, are actually older, because they can't handle that the game is changing. The game has changed. It's modern. Social media's involved. Branding's involved. And just because Todd does a few TikToks here and there, get over it. He does the stuff on the pitch. Yes, he hasn't done it in the first two games. Yes, he hasn't done it since the Premier League restart. But it's way too quick to jump on Todd. It's just... I'm fed up of it, and I just get more and more angry thinking about it, because what we've got here, Jack, is we've got a top talent on our hands, and what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be affecting his mindset. He's going to be thinking, bloody hell, you know what? I am fed up of this. Why would I stay at a club where the fans are just giving me shit for literally barely any of a reason? Yeah, he's had a couple of average performances, since the season has restarted, which I think is a fair comment. But I think that's more of a reflection on the team rather than him. I really do. I don't get it. I don't get why people pile on him. And I think that they need to get with the times and actually grow up a bit and get real, because the game is so much more now than just turning up on the pitch. And if you don't believe in that, then I think you're going to struggle in the next few years for sure.
Let us know what you think about Todd Cantwell in the comments. A few more Ko-fi donations. Once again, a massive thank you to every single one of you that supports us on Ko-fi. It's a one-off donation service. The links are in the description. If you do donate on there, and it's always very much appreciated, but never expected, please do leave a question in the little comment box and we'll read it out. We've got a few more. Jordan says, hey lads, do you think McLean's heart isn't in it anymore? Lackluster in midfield, frugally giving the ball away needlessly, would be better off with Ida, Emmy or Todd, who are hungry for games. Keep fighting the good fight. Come on, you yellows. Love that message at the end. Well, touching on that point, Jordan, of course, Emmy and Todd weren't involved today, mainly because of transfer rumours. I don't get necessarily the Kenny McLean dislike. I don't think he had his best game today. I don't think he's had the best few games. I still think he's better than Lucas Roop, and I think he's got something to add to this side. I don't think that he's being played in his most in his best position at the moment. A few more from Kofi. Isaac says, more creativity and a tea bag than that midfield today. Get Emmy in a yellow shirt ASAP. What would be your best 11 with the players available? Keep up the great work, lads. Isaac, thanks very much for commenting. I think my best 11 would be Emmy and Todd in that side. Maybe just Emmy. I don't know. And I think Ben Gibson comes in for me, although I thought Christoph Zimmermann, hands up. I thought he had a fantastic game today. Ben Godfrey was probably the weaker of the two. Chris, you got it spot on last week. Who else would come in there? And I still don't necessarily think that the system we're playing and overloading the flanks and getting balls whipped into the box necessarily suits Timu Puki's game. The comments flooding in. We have a lot, and I mean a lot, of Leeds United fans in here tonight, of course, all trying to get intel on Todd Cantwell. Look, I was in Conor McGilligan's live stream earlier. You know, in the comment section, I even left a few super chats for Conor. Gave him a couple of quid. Hopefully that can go towards the Todd Cantwell kitty. And was praising Todd. I've got nothing but good things to say about Todd Cantwell. And also, you might think that Todd Cantwell is maybe a bit arrogant. I don't know. The long hair, the surfer celebration, the TikToks. Let me tell you firsthand, I've had a few dealings with Todd Cantwell, me and Chris. He is the loveliest, most humble person. He has worked his arse off to get where he is. He came through the ranks at Dereham Town, for goodness sake. That's a similar level to the football I was playing at Hemsby Hornets. I'm sat here talking about Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell's out there on the pitch. Chris, we've talked about Todd, and I'm sure people will continue to comment, and we will get onto it later. I am conscious that we haven't really talked about today's game, but there's not too much to touch on. Let's get your thoughts on Emi Buendia. Let's go through the timeline of this. Last week, left out of the squad because of an injury. We all know it wasn't an injury. This week, declared fit. Okay, brilliant. In the kit launch, even better. Email sent out. I got an email in my inbox yesterday. Emi Buendia and Marco Stiepermann are fit for the game against Bournemouth. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I follow. Take 50 quid if you want me, because I'm going to be seeing goals galore here at the Vitality Stadium. I'm going to be seeing Emi Buendia rip through this Bournemouth defence. And what we got was another, just left out of the squad. When I saw Michael Bailey tweet that earlier on today, I was so upset. So upset. What's going on? What's going on with Emi Buendia?
I mean, Jack, you're asking me, and I don't know what's going on, and no one knows in the comments what's going on with Emi today, specifically today. Obviously our good friend of the channel, Nick Masheter, released an interesting article, to say the least, with his agent and him, and discussing what was going on with Emi. It could have been taken in two different ways. And today it seems like it's actually gone the way of the people that said that, oh yeah, that's Emi off then. That's how I read it at the moment. I honestly think, Jack, that Daniel Farke would have had to have sunk pints for the whole duration of the journey from Norwich to Bournemouth for him to not start Emi Buendia if he was fit today, right? So that definitely means that there's speculation. That definitely means that there's someone in for him. You know, and I think at the moment it's being kept under wraps, but I'm sure it will come out next week what's really going on with Emi Buendia, because he is way too good. The thing that, to be honest with you though, Jack, the thing that confuses me, and I'll just be really honest, right? And, you know, look, maybe I shouldn't be revealing what's been said to me, but when Anel gave his boots, and we'll go on to talk about that in a minute, when Anel donated his boots to our Big C fundraising, you know, obviously had extensive chats with him in the kitchen. And I said to him, right, come on then, Anel, you know, and he was like, look, at the moment, I think Max is the one where you do worry about it, right? And I was like, and Emi? And he was like, oh, no, Emi, he's here, you know. And I thought, wow, brilliant, this is good, you know. And those two, I'm sure, are fairly close. And so it surprises me that he's been kept out. You know, has something happened behind the scenes? And this is the thing, from a PR point of view and a media point of view, the club have not handled the last few days very well at all. Coming up there saying, you know, oh, Emi Buendia is back in the team, to get everyone to pay their 10 quid for iFollow, by the bloody way, has been mugged off today because he's not starting, and he's that much of a player. And for the Leeds fans that are in this chat right now, I'm really surprised that you've not coughed up the money that you've supposedly got for Emi Buendia. You know, of course, you know, give us 20 million plus add-ons, and I'm sure that Todd will be sold to you guys. But, you know, Emi Buendia, I will still be stunned. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We've been teased in the last few days. And I think the Norwich fans have every right to be really pissed off with it, because we think that Emi Buendia is staying. But let's get real here. We are sitting on an absolute diamond. We're sitting on a player that should be, that could easily be in a Wolves team, you know, in a Manchester United team, in an Arsenal team, yeah, in one of the biggest clubs in England. I genuinely believe that. Yes, he didn't contribute too many goals in the Premier League last season, but he has got so much latent potential. He will play at the top. So let's not kid ourselves. It's a bit of a joke that we've still managed to keep Emi Buendia, right? But that's, I think, the frustrating thing. I'm so intrigued as to what Daniel Farke says in his post-match press conference tonight, or whether he shuts the comments down in an Alex Neil fashion. But let's put this to bed now, Jack, and say for sure that this transfer window in the next week or so is going to be hotting up big time. Time.
It's definitely hotting up. I've had a WhatsApp from our good friend Nick Masheter, journalist at the PA, and very in with Norwich City goings on. And he's texted me and said, you can use this on your live stream. He said, I think it's a fair assumption that Todd Cantwell wasn't left out for any selection reasons. Leeds are in for him, talking about him, although nothing's yet agreed. That's the latest on Todd Cantwell. There is serious interest from Leeds. They are discussing terms with the club, but nothing is yet done. I've also had a WhatsApp from another recognized source. He doesn't want to be said, but he's also said that I haven't had any clear guidance on Emi Buendia. I'm having very conflicting answers when I ask the club. Interesting. We don't know what's going on with Emi Buendia. There's a bit more clarity when it comes to Todd Cantwell.
Just to switch this up, Jack, a little bit, what did people think of Mario Vrancic today? You know, a player that comes on and brings some creativity. I actually thought he played really well. Came on, you know, chasing balls down, interceptions here, interceptions there, you know, spreading the ball really well, you know, keeping things quick. I was impressed with Mario Vrancic today, Jack. And you know, if we're not going to be playing Emi Buendia, then surely we need to be playing a creative player such as Mario Vrancic, right?
Yeah, I thought Mario really improved the game when he came on. I think, you know, either one of Ida or Hugo. I don't think you start with, I don't know, maybe you do start with two strikers. I think they add an extra dimension. I think every single game, I know there's only been 3, so it's a small sample size, but I think every single time there's been more than just Pookie up front. We've looked more of a threat. Another Kofi comment. This one comes in from just Kofi supporter. Greetings from Philadelphia. Great work on the YouTube channel, OTBC, and fly, Eagles, fly. Well, let's change that to Norwich. Fly, Canaries, fly. I like the new badge, by the way. I think that's really nice. More Leeds fans piling in. Welcome along. Lots of marching on togethers, etc., etc. Look, hello Leeds fans. If you are new, hit subscribe to the channel. There'll definitely be more Todd Cantwell content coming up this week. Okay, what shall we talk about now? It's just Leeds United fans at the moment. Simon's saying, with both Jack and Chris wearing the third kit, I now realise they look like characters out of Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Let's do a kit review, Jack, on a very serious note. I genuinely, everyone knows, I despise our away kit. It doesn't matter what Norwich City Football Club give to me, say to me, whatever. I despise the away kit.
I've had a few people say to me, like, I met up with a friend in London for drinks in the week, and he's a Luton fan, but watches the content and is a big fan. He said Chris wasn't serious about the away kit, was he? And I was like, no, he was genuinely serious. And he was like, I can't believe it. And he was like, no,
it's absolutely diabolical. I mean, what kit designer with any brain cell would develop and design and sign off on a kit that looks slightly like Ipswich? I have no idea. Anyway, this third kit, Jack, yes, it looks like a Sanders bus coach team. Yeah, but you know what? I got it out straight away, and I thought Brian Gunn 90s vibes. I love it. I honestly really love it. I love how pink it is. And I actually wish that this was our away shirt. I really do.
Yeah, I like it too. I think, you've got a stag do coming up, Chris, and I think this would fit in any kind of nightclub.
Jack, this in Ibiza is a must. This is the first thing in my bag for Ibiza, for sure.
This is a really interesting comment coming in from Phoebe Langdale. Still no post-match press conference from Daniel Farke. All feeling very odd. Now, that is usually a bit of a worry when there's a delay after the game from either manager or players. Usually it was Russell Martin, wasn't it, being wheeled out in front of the media after, bad defeats. And today wasn't a bad defeat. We lost. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrendous. It wasn't like a 4-0. And let's not forget, Bournemouth are a decent club at this level. It still wasn't good enough. I'm really intrigued to hear what Daniel Farke says today about the performance, but I'm more interested to hear what he says about Emi Buendia and Todd Cantwell. I'm really interested about that. If that comes through while we're doing this, please be free to put it in the comment section, because we're obviously not across it at the moment. We're talking nonsense on YouTube and reading marching on together comments in here. But please do feel free. If Daniel Farke does come out, let us know. Chris, what do you think he's going to say?
Look, what I would say, Jack, is I agree with your observations, and I hate speculation, but I think this is leading to it massively. You can't deny it. What is going on in that changing room right now? I suspect there will be a lot of arguments happening between our players. I suspect that the players will be asking why the fuck. Sorry, monetization out the window. Why the fuck we've left our best players in Norwich? I suspect that Norwich players will be saying, why have we taken off our biggest threat in an El Hernandez when we're trying to win the game? So I think there'll be a lot of questions being asked. And I'm not saying the players will turn on Daniel Farke or any of that, but maybe they will. I see Daniel Farke in the second hand doing this and flapping his hands about and, dejected, sitting on the bench and doing all of the normal stuff. No excuses. The second half is the manager's half. And I know that's a cliche, but I'm a massive believer in it, huge believer in it. And, to not bring the game to Bournemouth, make your substitutions earlier, try and change the game. He didn't. Again. This happens week in, week out. And Jack, the thing that worries me is that we said we have to get off to a fast start. That's 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss now. Now, Jack, for me, you've got to bounce back in that next game, and it's not red alert. It's not red alert. It's not, danger zone, but I'm worried, if we lose the next game, I think that we'll see players go, fuck me, we're never going to do this, are we? I mean, come on. When you're leaving your best players in Norwich, when you know that they're fit, is absolutely ridiculous. And by the way, no one expects me to say this. I feel sorry for Marco Stiepermann. If he's fit and he's not on that substitutions bench, what is going on? And I'll say another thing, Jack, which I need to completely laud Hugill. He comes on, he's given the absolute disrespect with barely any game time. Yet again, he gives his heart, blood, sweat and tears to this football club. And what does he do? He comes on, he causes a nuisance. Players foul him, they pull him by. He jumps, he dives, he wins tackles. He's a nuisance in the box. He gets his head on balls from Xavi Quintilla. Yeah, we waited until, what was it, the 80th minute to bring him on? Correct me if I'm wrong. Not good enough. So everyone is saying, the players are to blame, the midfield aren't good enough, Lucas ripped this, Lucas ripped that. Daniel Farke needs to took a lot of criticism today, because don't tell me, I'm sure, Jack, you thought this, and I'm sure plenty of people think this in the live comments as well. Surely most Norwich fans would have looked at that team and gone, not sure that's going to get. It didn't stink of 3 points, did it? It stunk of trying to get a draw on the road to a recently relegated Bournemouth. Come on, Jack. I really don't want to come across as arrogant, but I can't help it. Norwich should be beating Bournemouth. I know that they've got some top players there, but they've just lost a few, and they've got their number 2 managing them. Bournemouth, they're an okay club, but Norwich should have done more with the amount that they had on the ball today.
Over 60% possession, wasn't it?
And I mean, that's criminal, Jack. To not score a goal when you've got 60% possession is bonkers. Absolutely.
I'm glad that everyone in the comment section's got a close attention to detail. You may notice, and I've just noticed up there, I've got the date wrong. It's the 27th of September, not the 26th of September. I'm a day behind. And it looks as if Norwich City weren't fully up to scratch today. The Ian Gabelli, good to see you, my friend of the TNC channel. A loss is a loss. All 3 games have been average. No signs of any intent yet. Early in the season, yes, but it's been like this for almost a year now. Well, Ian, I can't disagree with that, my friend. I don't think it's been a terrible start to the season, but it certainly hasn't been the start that Daniel Farke would have wanted. And off the back of 12 straight defeats going into the Championship season, is 1 win in 3 good enough? I don't know.
Look, I think Ian's, I like Ian a lot, actually, and I see a lot of his tweets, and he's a great lad, and of course a friend of the channel. I really enjoyed our Twitter conversation today, because no matter where we're at in terms of our opinion, it's always respectful. And I think a lot of Norwich fans can learn from Ian. This is a game of opinions. Some of you will think Todd's not good enough to start. Some of you will be like me, and that's totally fine. And I think that we all need to be more respectful to each other, particularly now we can't go to the stadium for the foreseeable, which is depressing as hell. We all need to be a bit nicer to each other, for sure.
Yeah, of course, this is a game of opinions, but if you disagree with me on Roop, then you are wrong. This comes in from DXN403. Hey, guys, do you think the goal today is due to a great touch shot by Danjuma or a weak defence by Zimmerman? Any thoughts on starting Gibson next game? I thought Zimmerman had a really good game today, actually. I thought it was his best game. I thought he was strong. I thought he got across the pitch really nicely. I thought he was good in the air. Danjuma, I was really impressed with. I haven't seen too much of him for Bournemouth, but I thought he was really good. I thought the strike was good. Let's not forget as well, Tim Krul made a few really big saves today, like really decent saves. There was the header, there was the shot from Solanke early on. It could have quite easily been 2 or 3. I can't really remember Norwich City having a clear-cut chance. There was that shot straight at the goalkeeper from Lucas Roop that everyone was raving about, acting like it was, the next Ballon d'Or kind of performance. That was it, really.
No, and El Hernandez had a couple of shots on today, didn't he, Jack? For sure.
I thought you said Onel had dyed his hair.
Well, he said to me that he was going to dye his hair white. So I think it might have gone wrong again. He actually tried to dye his hair blonde against Preston, but it ended up as ginger. That's the story, mate.
Because I thought I'd seen it go back to just brown.
No. Anyway, let's respond to that lovely person's point. Christoph.
Ben Gibson, I guess.
Christoph Zimmerman, though, first and foremost, Jack, thank you for admitting that Christoph Zimmerman played better than Ben Godfrey today. What I would say is you could argue that Zim did lose his man. I thought it was a great bit of skill from the Bournemouth attacker and the way that he finished as well against the wingspan of Tim Krul was very impressive indeed. I don't think Christoph Zimmerman was to blame for that goal. I think that we invited on the pressure. The midfield just tepid yet again. It's so easy to cut through a midfield consisting of Lucas Ripp and Kenny McLean. Let's not kid ourselves. And I think that we just invited people on today. Jack, a lot of people are saying check David Freezer. So you check David Freezer whilst I go and talk. And by the way, so many Leeds fans in this live stream today, which is, I guess, lovely. Thanks.
Okay, so David Freezer has been live tweeting Daniel Farke's press conference, and let's get the first one. It says, definitely our best performance of the season, says Daniel Farker. Felt they would have had at least one penalty with VAR. Yeah. Felt foul on Aaron's was a foul anywhere else on the pitch. Pleased but frustrated with the performance. I watched our training week and I pick a team on these players. They are fully focused, desired, and want to represent the yellow shirt. Farker says the absence of Cantwell and Buendia. I never pick a team because of the name, potential, or what someone has done in the past. They were both fit. I love this player, but last league goal was a long time ago and last assist was 40 games ago. Daniel Farker says of Cantwell, you have to show you are fully switched on and fully focused. I just hope this bloody transfer window will close soon, says a clearly fired up Daniel Farker. Very interesting there. He says there are no offers in for any of the players as far as he's aware, as he comes close on Buendia and Cantwell being distracted from the current proceedings. So that's the key quote for me there from David Freezer and Daniel Farker. He says,
what's the key quote?
You have to show you are fully switched on and fully focused.
I'm sorry. I don't buy any of that at all. I really don't.
What don't you buy?
How can you say that was our best performance of the season? We just lost. That's not a performance. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. We went away to Huddersfield and we scraped a 1-0 win. Yes, I know that wasn't exactly flamboyant activity, but you can't come out and say it was our best performance of the season. We lost. We lost the game.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on them comments about Cantwell and Buendia being distracted?
Everyone, I'm sure everyone, that's a Norwich fan is enjoying the great behind-the-scenes content that Norwich City is supplying us at the moment with the players in the training sessions. It's very evident to me that Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia look like they're enjoying their time at Norwich and are fully focused. And actually, you know what, Jack? I'd rather have a half-focused Emi Buendia. In fact, I'd rather have a one-legged Emi Buendia than Lucas Rupp on the pitch. So I think that Daniel Farker I think he's lost it there. I think he's absolutely lost it. I'm not really sure. Look, I know he's got to cover his arse a little bit, but again, just such a lack of accountability.
It's interesting, isn't it? We've seen this before.
He picked the wrong team today, and he could have come out and said, you know what? Yeah, I think actually we lacked creativity today. But I mean, come on, you can't come out and say it was our best performance. There was no creativity.
We've seen this before from Daniel Farker. He's not kind of backwards and coming forwards in terms of throwing players under the bus in front of the press. He's clearly said there that there's issues with both Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia being distracted from the current proceedings. Now, if I've got Leeds United coming in for me, I'm going to be slightly distracted. On the flip side, Barcelona have been in for Max Aarons and Max hasn't been dropped. His professionalism seems to have been absolutely, exemplary throughout the whole thing. So let us know what you think of them comments from Daniel Farker. Ben Detaria says, great content as always, gents. Let's hope Stuart Webber is listening. If he is, what's the one question you'd want an answer on?
Wow.
That's a great question, Ben, and thanks for the donation. Great to have you along, my friend. I think my question would be, are we doing everything in our power to keep hold of our best players? This is a really important season for Norwich City. We know that when... Are we?
Mate, we could have let Max Aarons go to Barcelona. Of course we are.
But in terms of I think there's going to be another 2 players leave, in the coming weeks. And having seen the team today without Emi Buendia and Todd Cantwell,
my question to Stuart Webber right now, which he would never answer. Well, actually, he probably would, because to be fair, credit where credit's due, Webber is such an honest chap. I would say to him, Stuart, if this is going wrong, how long do you give it? That's what I'd ask him.
No, that's better than my question. I'd ask that too.
I know it is.
I think I'd ask, what did you see in Daniel Farker to keep him in the head coach role despite losing 12 games in a row, getting us relegated and starting the season with 1 win in 3?
I think no. Right. Let's be careful here, Jack. Daniel Farker deserves a shot at making it right, because he will know that his performance wasn't good enough in the Premier League. He'll also know that his players' performance wasn't good enough in the Premier League. As we have said last time, there are no excuses. Not a single excuse, Jack. He has had all of the resource, all of the players. He's got everything. He's been given the resource. We have got the players in our squad. And by the way, don't take my word for it. Take a respected journalist's opinion. Michael Bailey comes on our show and says, we've got a team that can win this league. Yeah. So don't take my opinion from it. Take a more respected journalist. Yeah. Daniel Farke has got the players to win this league. Now, I need to be careful here, Jack, because I think we need to maybe just zoom out. I quite like that phrase at the moment. Let's zoom out here. This is our first loss of the season. And I know, and I knew this was going to happen, Jack. I knew this was going to happen, that this whole thing was going to be blown out of proportion. But if we'd lost today, because of the fact that we played our best players and we were outperformed, I think that people in this live stream, I'm sure that you'd agree, would say, you know what, fair play. You know what, fair play. Because we put our best players on the pitch, but Bournemouth outperformed us. They scored a worldie, or they outdid us, or they had more possession. They had more shots on. It wasn't our day. But when you see that Daniel Farke isn't playing his best players, that for me is absolutely deserved criticism. I'm never gonna be two-faced about that. 100%.
I suppose, is it the thing with Cantwell and Buendia that if they're, there's obvious interest in Todd Cantwell, we know that. What's going on with Emi Buendia, no one quite knows. Is it a case of, if Leeds are in for him and we think we're going to sell him, do we risk him getting injured?
Well, maybe, Jack. Maybe. That's actually a valid point. I didn't think about that. Let us know in the comments if you agree. I don't know. Look, what we're doing here is we're speculating. And this was the thing that really annoyed me about Todd Cantwell. The really, really horrible, nasty criticism of Todd when the news came out this morning. A lot of people are making a lot of assumptions based on no facts whatsoever. Now, Daniel Farke has come out in his press conference and said a few things that hint that Todd's focus hasn't been there. But let's hear from Todd himself, shall we? Let's hear from him. Because I tell you what, if I get a word out of him, I'm going to tell the great people that are watching this channel exactly what's going on now, because they deserve it. The Norwich fans deserve to know what is going on with Todd Cantwell, what's going on with Emi Buendia. The club need to be that we speak. There's a lot of talk about how lovely and transparent we are with the supporters. This is a cover-up, Jack. It's a cover-up. This does not sit well with me to not play those two lads today when they are the players to cause problems for opposition. It's just not right.
Well, Todd, if you're watching, mate, drop me a message. I'll give you a link and you can jump in if you want. I don't know if you're watching or not. Chris, I guess the thing with Emi Buendia, less so of Todd Cantwell, Daniel Farke's indicated there that he hasn't, I think it was regarding Emi Buendia, basically saying the stats aren't good enough, his performance levels haven't quite been there. There always feels as if there's a bit of an issue around Emi Buendia. Or is it Daniel Farke not being able to handle big personalities?
Oh, God. I don't want to hyperbole this, but I do think it does. It feels like the latter at the moment. It does feel like the latter at the moment. We've heard this, Jack, from players of past, experienced people. Wes Hoolahan, Russ Martin, Cameron Jerome, Stephen Naismith have all said that about Daniel Farke. Look, I think the best managers in the world, they can take a player with a bit of bite, a bit of arrogance, a bit of something spicy about them, and they can mold it into making it work. And I think someone commented this below, we should be shaping our whole team around Emi Buendia. I would agree with that. I would absolutely agree with that. If we are confident we're going to keep him, like everyone's saying, oh yeah, Emi Buendia is a Norwich player, he's a Norwich player, well, build the team around him then, because he's our best player that we've got. And I think, I always put up this example, Diego Costa, that sort of player with a bit of bite, a bit of, shithousery, something a bit nasty about him. But you should be able to, that I think that's actually a good attribute, to have players in your team that are a bit nasty. For anyone that's watched the Tottenham documentary, that you'll hear it from Jose Mourinho. Nice teams don't win anything. And I would agree with that to a point. I think that, Norwich need to get better at being nasty, which is why I was so excited that we brought in Jordan Hugill. a player that can create fouls, that can do all of the horrible, dirty stuff that Norwich need. And I'm not saying Emi Buendia is dirty, but he's got a bit of bite about him. Yes, he is better than our football club. Yes, so let's give him every opportunity to let him flourish. Because at the moment, we've got a player that's sitting there that's going to be super frustrated with what's going on, but he can't even do anything about it. If you play him and he shows that petulance, too much so, bring him off. Have a word with him. But at the moment, as I said before, I would want a one-legged Emi Buendia out on that pitch today.
This is the more Daniel Farke quotes Saxon. Claxon.
Okay.
And it's beefy.
Okay.
Strap yourselves in, my friends. Here's what is being said. Some players are capable to handle this. Max Aarons is a role model. Sadly, Emi and Todd are not on the same level, but they can focus on this. I don't blame them because they are young human beings. Let me read that first line once again. Some players are capable to handle this. Max Aarons is a role model. Sadly, Emi and Todd are not on the same level. That's what Daniel Farke has had to say after the Bournemouth defeat today. We lost 1-0 at the Vitality Stadium. It's Sunday, the 27th of September. Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia were left out of the squad. If you're just joining us after your Sunday roast, I hope it was nice. Chris, what do you make of that? Unprofessional, not able to handle it, says Daniel Farke.
Did he sound professional?
He said some players are capable to handle this. Sadly, Emi and Todd are not. Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me say this to you, Jack. A club comes into you, a massive club. Yeah. People don't like Leeds, but I've got a lot of respect for them. They're a massive club, and I'm impressed with what they're doing in the Premier League already. I really am. Yeah. They deserve some respect here. Now, yes. Why wouldn't you be thrown off the scent? You've got a huge club coming in for you. And I agree. And I've said this, Daniel Farke was right to not include him in the squad. Todd, this is, when Leeds have been sniffing around and, and possibly and probably made a bid for Todd. But I just hate this pile-on culture of saying what Todd has done hasn't been good. If Leeds came in for me and I was playing for Norwich, but I would be finding it hard. And by the way, obviously Max is a friend. I would call a friend of mine now, which I'm very grateful for. But I don't think that in the last few games, you can't tell me that Max has been at his pinnacle, because yes, he's been super professional. Yes, he's still performed 9 out of 10 in those games, but there's still been that element of, oh God, because the people are talking about you. The pressure's on. When you've got Barcelona on your back. And by the way, I absolutely applaud Max for the way that he's handled it. Daniel Farke is completely right about that. Max Aarons should be completely applauded for the way that he's handled the pressure. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay for Todd to not be able to handle the pressure. He's a young guy, with the world at his feet. And absolutely, of course, it's tough. And by the way, there's a lot of people saying, oh, this, oh, that, all this. And, and I go back to, trolls that stick into me sometimes. Like you try and put yourself in the shoes of Todd Cantwell, taking the nasty, horrible, spiteful, jealous criticism day in, day out, wherever you go, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, it's endless, it's constant. Yeah. And so I'm not surprised that Todd can't take it if that's true. But I would say, actually, I want a player that hurts. I want a player like Todd that sits on the pitch, that's so upset about what's going on. He loves this football club. And you know what? Daniel Farke might be right. Maybe Todd is really upset with what's going on. And, maybe he can't take it. But that's okay. Let's look after him. He's one of our own. Norwich fans should be saying, this is great. One of our boys is about to get a massive move to the Premier League. We should be backing him, not dismissing him.
So, are you in agreement with the way that Daniel Farke has handled that post-match interview then?
No, I'm not, because I think that's going to really piss off Emi, and it's going to really piss off Todd. I mean, it's not too dissimilar to... Look, it might be the truth. It might be the truth, but... if I was Todd, and especially if I was Emi Buendia has, I think, since the beginning of this season, has done everything right. Yeah, he knows that he should be being played in the Premier League, but he's not turned his back on the football club. Todd's not turned his back on the football club either, by the way. So if I was Emi Buendia, I'd be really pissed off because not only have I not played, I've just been slagged off by the manager, and I'm not even there. That seems pretty cowardly to me.
You know, the thing that I don't think there's anything positive coming out of slagging your players off in the press. Look, Farker might be pissed off with what Todd's done or what Emi's done. We don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, and there's always two sides to every story. So I'm not going to be taking sides here. All I'm saying is there anything positive from saying Cantwell and Emi haven't, done what they've needed to do? No, like what is there? What good comes out of that? You've got two players who now are annoyed at you and are arguably not going to give their all for a manager. All of us have worked under managers before that maybe we don't like at work or whatever. You don't give your all. It's the same in football. So I don't get why. What the benefit is.
I don't know what to say. I don't think it's been handled right at all. I don't think it's been handled right. I agree with what Daniel Farke is saying about Max, though. What a top professional. What a top professional. To have Barcelona make, two bids for you and to handle what he did in the way that he did is just so impressive. And, I'm so chuffed for him. But I think as well, Jack, you can't treat everyone the same way. Like what works for Max won't work for Todd. And by the way, that's okay because some people have got thicker skin. And I think it's very unfair to be treating a player like that. I do. Let's go back to the stats. Todd Cantwell last season, 5 assists, 6 goals in the Premier League, single-handedly-ish took Man City to the sword, and yet you're saying now that his head's not in the right place. I'm not sure about that.
Lee Pitts with a contrasting opinion. He says they're grown men, not delicate little flowers. Jesus. So what? You've had a bollocking. Stop being so woke. Interesting. We like to get both sides of the argument here on TNC. Chris, let's move ahead. Transfer silly season is here. We've talked about Todd. We've talked about Emi in depth. Leeds fans, if you are here, hit subscribe. There's going to be loads more Todd Cantwell and Emi Buendia videos coming in the next week. Norwich City, they now go up against Derby, I believe, in the next game. Derby have not started the season well. They've sold their best assets. They've got an aging Wayne Rooney leading the line for them. They got absolutely pummeled by Blackburn in the last game. They were 3-0 down within 20 minutes. Bradley Johnson scoring against his former clubs. That is the perfect game to try and get a response in. What do we want to see from that game other than 3 points?
I want to see Jordan Hugill start.
Wow.
I do. I want to see Jordan Hugill start. Whether that be, I'm not saying replace Timu. I want to see Jordan Hugill start. I want to see us bring it to the opposition. I want to see us dominate a first half. I want to see us get a goal in the first half. I want to see us fight. I want us to be nasty. I think Jordan Hugill to start, whether that be with Timu or without, if you're getting players like Xavi Quintilla whipping balls in, you're getting an El Hernandez driving through and getting those little lucky deflections or even getting a shot in, forcing a save early on, that's what we need to see from Norwich City in the next game. We have to beat Derby County. However, they are our bogey club. Let's not
no excuses, Chris.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is Derby, of any club, they know how to get under our skin. They've done it before. Of course, we've had some great wins over them in the past few years. And, let's not kid ourselves. They've got Wayne Rooney up top. I don't fancy Wayne Rooney against our opposition, against our defence at the moment. I don't know about you, Jack, but that seriously worries me, particularly because Wayne Rooney in the latter stages of his career has dropped back into the middle more. That worries me massively. Although saying that, he's got to compete with Ollie Skip, and I don't think he'll be able to handle Ollie Skip's energy for sure. So yeah, for me, I want to see Jordan Hugill start. I want to see us bring the game to the opposition. I love an L on one side and PP on the other. I think that I really do like that. Give Daniel Farke credit where credit's due. I think that it's now time. We cannot start Lucas Rook with Kenny McLean again. That's it. I'd never ever want to see those two players play together ever again. That today was just such a lack of creativity. It's as simple as that. So the thing is, there's a comment on here on YouTube from Mega Exploit. Rooney is finished. Look, Rooney might be finished in terms of being at the highest level, but give Rooney space, he will score. Believe me, he will score. So don't dismiss Wayne Rooney. But that's what I want to see, Jack. What do you want to see against Derby? Let's answer this fellow first.
Yeah, is Farke proving a point to Webber that need them? Not quite sure what that means, but thank you nonetheless to Jay Philbsky for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And also a big thanks to Harry Copeman for the $4.99 super chat. Really, really grateful for that.
I think I know what he means. I think what he's saying is Daniel Farke, is he saying, well, if you're going to sell my best players, let me leave them out and let me show you what happens. Maybe, and I think that's what he's saying. And by the way, this is what I hate. Why are we speculating this? We shouldn't be talking about this. We should be talking about a spirited, hard-earned Norwich City win. But instead, we're talking about nonsense transfer speculation.
No, 100%. Yeah, what do I want from Derby? Well, I think it's a really good opportunity to get a win. I think Derby look one of the weaker sides in the Championship this season. Of course, they've got quality throughout the team, but I was watching them. I've watched, the highlights of each of their games. Defensively, they're all over the shop, and that's what we need. We need to score a few goals, don't we? They've sold their fullbacks. They were awful against Blackburn. Maybe they might go, right, we're just setting up to try and keep a clean sheet here. It might be really tough to break them down. I really desperately hope, and I'm praying to the footballing gods, please, footballing gods, let Emi Buendia be in that starting 11 next weekend.
Or is he going to be sold?
I hope not, mate. I hope not.
Jack, prepare yourself, because that today is coming out saying he's fit, and they're not even having him on the substitutes bench. Jack, I couldn't, but he was beggars belief. I kicked off. The missus told me the team. I kicked off. We had a little pop at each other.
Really?
I was like, you're joking me. She was like, no. I went, no way. Come on. And she went, don't shout at me. It's the truth. I went, whoa. Because seriously, I don't understand it. And when they're not on the bench is bonkers. I will be so surprised if we keep him. I'll be so surprised.
You know what it is it's the teasing that does it for me. I don't like it. It's like maybe a single man with an attractive girl coming up to them in the club and going, want to hop in the taxi, and then just going off without them. That's that kind of equivalent, isn't it? It's going, look, you can have Emi, you can have him in this beautiful third kit, you can have him slicing open the Bournemouth defence, then going, actually, no, he's not handled it properly. That hurts. That really hurts.
Interesting analogy there, Jack.
Mike from Singapore's back again. This smells like previous, says Mike. He says sticking with a manager who, great as he was, is past his sell-by date. Maybe that's why it smells, Mike. They were right to stick by him, but you are damned if you do and damned if you don't. I can see the start of where this will end. Nothing quite. You don't want an out-of-date German, do you? You don't want one. You want a fresh, ripe German. And Mike from Singapore there is saying, well, maybe he's past the sell-by date.
Oh, mate, your analogy. We are. Why are we talking about this?
Talking about what?
Just the fact we didn't play Emi Buendia today. It's bonkers. It's just crazy. Why are we being put through this again?
Chris, I saw him in that kit, and honestly, I was in such a good mood yesterday. I had the day off.
Jack, I saw him in this kit, and I was genuinely aroused. I was really aroused.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the attractive lady in the club going, come and see me in the third kit.
Oh God, this is what a loss does. I forgot. I thought, the tide's turned now, Jack. It's a new season. We're a new Norwich City, and yet we've just fallen over to Bournemouth.
Brommy Joe, good to see you, mate. Good man is Joe. He says we all want a fresh, ripe German. Yes, quite right, my friend.
Birmingham, great. By the way, the best fan channel, Brummy Joe. Go and make sure that you've subscribed to him.
And it's worth, of course, noting that Birmingham are still Birmingham. Jeremy Benson says, Daniel Farke says no offers in for any player as far as he's aware as he comes to a close on Buendia and Cantwell being distracted. Yeah, that's the quote. Thanks for putting it in here, Jeremy. It's good to see the quotes flying in. Yeah, look, if there's no offers in for any player, then nothing's changed. You know, they're still Norwich City players. The transfer window shuts. Let me get my little calendar out. My transfer window calendar. The transfer window shuts here, Monday the 5th. Okay? Monday the 5th. We haven't got too long to go. We've got a week.
I binned mine because Tom Tribal was on the following month, so I got really angry and binned it. I was just furious.
You literally put Tribal in the bin?
Well, mate, Todd, what? Tom Tribal, right, okay, I know I shouldn't be talking about this, but you've teed it up for me. Tom Tribal would have done a fantastic job in that team today.
Oh, mate, this is dangerous getting caught up of what could have been, isn't it?
I'm sorry. This is what a loss does to me, Jack. You've got to start questioning things, haven't you?
Simon says aroused. Good grief. Yeah, I mean, that's what Emmy does to us. Let me try and find that picture of Emmy, actually. That picture of Emmy in that shirt. I mean,
oh dear. Let's get people's score predictions in for Derby County. Let's go for an early one. What are we feeling? Are you actually confident going to that game, Jack? Like,
Derby.
Be serious now. Be very serious. Like, how confident are you?
Well, it's such a massive game, isn't it? I'm just going to put this man up. There he is. There's Emmy. I miss him. No, look, it's going to be a fascinating week. I'm really intrigued. There is literally like a week and a bit left of the transfer window. This squad could look completely different come October the 5th. I really, really want to keep Emmy. I'm resigned. I think Todd's gone now. I think he's gone. I think, you know, the Leeds pull will be too much. And by the sounds of it, Farke doesn't really seem too fussed, which is a shame because I think Todd could have offered a lot this season. Yep. If the money's right, he'll go. And I think 15 million might be a little shy of the valuation. I think nearer 20 will be near enough, spot on. I just look, if Emmy Buendia's in the side against Derby, we win. If he's not, I'm a little more fearful. But it's a really big game. It is.
Yeah, and do you know what? I actually think it is as simple as that. Because if the players know that Emmy is back in, imagine the lift in the changing room. It's like that meme, isn't it? I'm not fucking leaving. But could you imagine that at Colney? You know, let's do a bit of theatrics. Let's get Emmy Buendia to announce to the players that he's not leaving. Jack, get some of these score predictions in on the comments. Lots of different ones. Scroll up, mostly on YouTube. We've got 2-0, 4-3, 2-1, 2-0, 4-1 Norwich, 2-0 Norwich. Norwich 1, Derby 3, Rooney hat-trick. Oof, no thank you. 4-3.
Let's just hope that, hang on, it's uploading, that this is Emmy Buendia walking into Colney on October the 5th.
Okay.
Can someone meme that up and get Emmy's face on there, please, and tweet us? Jay Flibsky with the super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. He says, bring back the Irish Messi. By the way, if anyone wants a bit of happiness, just watch the Cambridge United highlights of the last few weeks. They are unbelievable. Irish Messi is running the show down in League Two. Right. Lots of people saying Norwich City wins. And this is a brilliant comment. This is the best one of the night from Jen. Nearly tea time. Look, my dinner's cooking. Absolutely marvellous scenes. Absolutely brilliant.
What's she cooking up for you tonight, Jack?
I think I've got a stir fry tonight.
Oh, wow.
That's the equivalent of a lovely little through ball from Lucas Roop, you know?
Let's hope that she's not teasing you tonight.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I mean, look, maybe the teasing situation would be Jen going, look, dinner's ready, and then serving up like tofu or something. No one wants tofu. Tofu is the equivalent of Emmy Buendia being left out. Like it does a job, but it's not the job you want. The real good one would be, you know, that beautiful chicken stir fry with lashings of soy sauce. That would be the Emmy Buendia through the Todd Cantwell through ball. Look, yes. This is a good comment from Cameron. He says the TNC therapy session. Look, in all seriousness, we come on these live streams after every single Norwich City game. We want to laugh. We want to chat. We want to talk to other Norwich fans. That's all we want to do.
Jack, I've just realised there's something that I've forgotten about, which I need to bring up. Of course, people know our official charity sponsor as such of the season. Our charity partner is Big C, Norfolk's local cancer charity. And El Hernandez has kindly donated 5 pairs of boots. One of those pair of boots will be uploaded to our socials tomorrow for you to be in with a chance of winning them. They are signed. And the other 4 pairs will be up to auction via the Big C. So make sure that you are fully following Big C on all platforms, and make sure that you enter everywhere to be in with a bigger chance of winning those boots. And once again, a huge thank you to Anel Hernandez for donating those boots to the Talk Norwich City fundraising for Big C this season.
Yeah, 100%. One final Kofi. This one's from Shaney again. Daniel Farke always mentioned about not being scared of the opposition. How on earth is he motivating these players, mentioning about not being scared? Why should we be scared? We are Norwich City. Look, we are Norwich City. And let's hope, Shaney, friend of the TNC channel, that we can do some good things this season. We're an hour and 15 in. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support in this stream. It's been really good fun. I've been looking forward to this all day. These are my favourite videos to do. I absolutely love these live streams. I get to chat to my best mate in Chris. I get to chat to you know, our friends of the channel, read out the comments. We can talk about getting teased by Emi Buendia, and just seeing a comment from Neil Luther that I'm not going to read out. But there we go. Chris, what are you up to tonight, mate?
Mate, just probably just a bit of work and off to bed, early start. You know the way it is. I actually, you know what? I'll probably have a couple of drinks, I have to say, to get over that loss. I think I need it, to be honest with you.
Re-lubricate the vocal cords, my friend.
Yeah.
Great to have you along tonight. All the Leeds fans, please hit subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, then please do. It's going to be a busy week, a busy few weeks for Norwich City, and I don't want any of you to miss out on the content that we'll be creating. Oh, Christian Hubbard with a late super chat. You guys always manage to cheer me up despite the result. Christian, thanks very much. And with that super chat, you've cheered me up as well. So the feeling is neutral, my friend. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you again for Derby next week. That's an early kickoff, I believe. We'll do a live stream. We'll be here. We're never away. We're like rashes. We're always about. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Kick it.